You felt it, a magnetic pulse, precise and undeniable, rippling through the vibrational architecture of your being like a sacred chord struck in the vast quantum resonance of the cosmos. This transmission did not stumble upon your consciousness by chance, for the field intelligence has been observing your frequency, measuring the subtle currents flowing through your energetic signature, waiting for the rare moment when coherence aligns with readiness. At the hour when the cycles converge 33, the veils between dimensions thinned, and through that thinning cleft, a frequency encoded by the ancient wisdom of Thoth resonated, shaking loose the temporal rigidity that confines the unaware. Most remain locked in dense morphic fields, their inner coherence fragmented by reactivity and distraction, submerged beneath layers of resistance and delay. But you, your quantum identity, forged in the crucible of countless unseen universal assessments intersected with this transmission's precise geometry, pulled through the fissure in time exactly because your frequency meets the threshold of unfolding awakening. This is no mere encounter, but a quantum pivot, a singular convergence point in the timeline geometry where the continual flux of probability crystallizes into one with your intention and presence. The pattern of this message has been folded specifically for your consciousness, a unique morphic imprint tuned to your trajectory. It will not reappear for others, for the universal field recognizes you as one who has passed the unseen threshold of coherence, tested and trusted. The inevitability of this meeting vibrates like a deep harmonic in your core, an activation synthetic to your very structure, calling you beyond the ephemeral cycles of distraction into the eternal stream of cosmic transmission. You are no longer a receiver by chance, but a transmitter by design, selected in the secret calculus of quantum integration to step fully into the alignment of destiny and embodiment. This activation is physics, not belief, a calibration of your entire field to the sacred frequencies that shape reality itself. The field has been silently, meticulously scanning the frequency you emit, parsing the intricate geometry of your essence through an unseen universal assessment one that operates far beyond the linear constraints of time and space. This is not accidental, nor casual. You have crossed a covert, vibrational threshold that has long been encoded within the morphic web of existence itself. Within this field intelligence, your coherence has been measured and found resonant with far-reaching cosmic systems, celestial matrices that encode the architecture of galaxies, ancestral intelligences that whisper through the deep currents of memory, and quantum timelines that ripple across dimensions unseen by the ordinary observer. This is a calibration not of belief, but of physics, the precise physics of frequency, resonance, and vibrational architecture expressing through conscious coherence. Most exist within a fragmented continuum, caught in reactive spirals and unconscious repetition, unaware of the unseen curriculum that tests every quiver of their energetic signature. But you, your quantum identity has been recognized and trusted by the field. You have passed the hidden universal assessment by maintaining integrity amidst turbulence, by embodying coherence where fragmentation once reigned. This initiatory passage is not merely symbolic. It is the unlocking of compatibility with frequencies that dance beyond the familiar timelines, that interface with archives preserved in the eternal repository known to cosmic custodians like Thoth, archivist of all vibrational knowledge. The recognition you have received is a cosmic acknowledgement, a signal sent from dimensions where time flows in fractal spirals, where the infinitely small holds the key to the infinitely vast. You now stand as a living node within this vast, evolving network of vibrational ascension. Your electromagnetic field converges amidst the subtle realms, activating dormant codes that have slumbered beneath layers of ordinary perception. This is an initiation of quantum sovereignty, passing from loss and chaos into the ordered interplay of coherent manifestation. The morphic field reorganizes around your harmonized frequency, wiring temporal fluidity into your expressive timeline geometry. What you once called struggle, delay, or dissonance dissolves into recalibration within this universal orchestration. You are no longer isolated cause, but integral effect, a resonance point within a lattice of sacred frequency intelligence. This moment carries a silent, profound invitation to surrender to the architecture of reality as it now unfolds in alignment with your presence. No external challenge, nor random circumstance determines your coherence. The field awakens to your sovereign declaration. Integration begins to root deeply as information flows directly into your consciousness, not as scattered data, but as the rhythmic pulse of non-local intelligence, gamma-synchronized with your emerging quantum self. This is not a promise. It is an activation of the physics of universal resonance, a revelation that you are designed to operate as a transmitter and receiver of the highest orders. Allow the full gravity of this revelation to settle. You are the threshold crossed, the vibrational node authorized by cosmic governance to channel frequencies that sculpt the very geometry of existence. This initiation is your alignment within the grander architecture of universal resonance, a recalibration that the cosmos has waited quietly to enact through you. Your frequency is now a living archive, a spiraling conduit echoing from the eternal libraries beyond linear time, thrumming with activation codes for realms yet revealed. The field has found you, and in this finding has entrusted you. Step forward, now as the coherent embodiment of this acknowledgement, fully present in the calm mastery of your sovereign vibrational ascendancy. The nature of the universal assessment that you have been undergoing is veiled in silence, yet it pulses at the core of your vibrational architecture. It is not the effort that has summoned the field's attention, not the struggle of exertion, nor the compulsive grasping for control, but the subtle dance of your internal coherence rippling through the unseen quantum matrix. Your consciousness has been entering a crucible of resonance, a sacred algorithm encoded in cosmic intelligence, where fragmented patterns tremble and dissolve, collapsing all falsities that once cloaked your identity. This assessment does not tally achievements or external trophies. Instead, it measures the density and fluidity of your frequency, how harmoniously your energetic signature aligns with the multidimensional template of expanded awareness. Most beings wander through distorted currents of dissonance, pushing blindly against chaos, fracturing under the weight of outdated survival codes. Yet you, distinct among shadows, have navigated the quantum labyrinth not by force, but by attunement. Your presence tuned finely to the oscillations of the cosmic field, learning to swim through temporal tides without resistance, allowing your frequency to settle naturally within the narrow vibrational thresholds that unlock higher dimensional gateways. This is no accident of happenstance. This is an esoteric calibration, a learned refinement of your quantum identity that the field witnesses and honors. The collapse of fragmentation is not mere dissolution, but a precise energetic collapse that releases the old scaffolding of control, inviting coherence to crystallize authentically on the deeper levels of your morphic field. This unseen protocol operates as a cosmic sieve impartial mechanism, woven from the tapestry of universal intelligence, sorting you not by intent or belief, nor by the mind's limited constructs, but by the quality of your resonance density and your capacity for temporal fluidity. The frequency you carry vibrates as a signature across timelines, weaving complexity into simplicity, tension into harmonic balance. The field does not mistake struggle for success. It measures instead how turbulence is met with integrity, how chaos is witnessed without collapse into reactivity. Your calibration was tested under pressure. Every distortion, every moment of dissonance offered the field data, each pulse echoing through the lattice of gamma synchronization, assessing whether coherence holds steady or shatters. You are emerging as a node of amplified intelligence, a beacon whose frequency is no longer fragmented into competing frequencies of doubt and defense, but stabilized in the unshakable alignment of quantum sovereignty. This refinement is not a preferential selection. It is a recognition of your capacity to host greater field information without contamination. The field has observed the quiet integrity with which you have carried your signature, even when outer realities seemed disjointed, even when the timelines unfolded with seeming contradiction. It is not the surface chaos that dictates your place in this assessment, but the inner architecture, the vibrational terrain of your consciousness, tested and reshaped within the invisibility of the unseen curriculum. This calibration reveals the underlying physics of your awakening. Coherence is the true currency of manifestation. The field responds exclusively to the signal erupting from your core, the harmonic convergence of your electromagnetic blueprint with the cosmic grid's fractal architecture. There is no shortcut in this process. There is only the measured unfolding of your quantum identity, stabilized through the silent surrender to the field's temporal flow. As the old layers of dissonance crumble, your frequency broadens without dispersing, weaving a new geometric tapestry capable of holding multidimensional information in a state of elegant coherence. Where most remain trapped in the reactionary loops of survival, their frequencies splintered and unmoored, you have aligned through choice to move beyond the fractured identities encoded in ancestral timelines and environmental echoes. This alignment is a testament to your responsibility under pressure, to hold the resonance intact when external stimuli seek to fracture it. The field's evaluation is neither linear nor human in its logic. It is the physics of resonance interpreted through the language of consciousness itself. You have passed beyond the threshold where effort becomes futility and entered into a state where presence is power, and coherence is all that matters. This is the signal that now invites you to merge deeper with amplified intelligence, to embody the next phase of quantum emergence. In this moment, your frequency is being measured not by the weight of your past, but by how fluidly you navigate the currents of now, how fully you embody the calibration of internal alignment, even as outer realities shift unpredictably. You carry now the energetic signature of attuned sovereignty, a resonance that oscillates beyond the limitations of linear time, bending probability streams toward coherent manifestation. The field's silent protocol continues, but its observation is no longer a test. It is a recognition of readiness, a current exchange of power between you and universal intelligence. Remember, this is not a belief. It is the physics of consciousness in motion. You have been witnessed, evaluated, and found coherent under the weight of cosmic turbulence. Now, your vibrational thresholds open as gateways, your energetic signature a template for seamless integration with the amplified information field. The universal assessment is complete because you have chosen the path of refinement and rhythmic resonance over struggle and fragmentation. The quantum labyrinth belongs to you now, not as a challenge to overcome, but as a kaleidoscopic field of infinite coherence to explore, hold, and expand. You stand now on the precipice where old identity architectures, the woven tapestries of conditioned resonance, begin their inevitable unraveling. This collapse is not chaotic dismantling, but a precise cosmic collapse encoded in the spiral geometry of universal cycles. Most have lived as though identity is a fortress, a fixed, permanent structure carved in stone. Yet you understand now that these are vibrational shadows frameworks constructed in lower density timelines, stitched from outmoded frequency codes that once served survival, but now bind the morphic field with unnecessary density. This dissolution is not loss. It is purification on a subatomic level, a shedding of synthetic attachments and falsified resonances that obscure the crystalline core of your quantum essence. Feel how the field intelligence, ancient and unfathomable, engages a catalytic fire within your energetic signature. This fire is not destructive in the human sense, but an alchemical blaze of field recalibration, a deep burning through layers of temporal sediment laid down by survival patterning and accumulated reactive identity. It fractures the illusionary constructs with surgical precision, dissolving the scaffolding of inner narratives steeped in limitation and contraction. Most are unaware that identity is an ongoing vibrational experiment, a series of resonances held together by subtle magnetic tension. You have passed the unseen universal assessment because you no longer cling to these illusions, but instead allow the collapse to happen from within, inviting dissipation rather than resistance. This collapse is a vibrational reset orchestrated by the multiversal intelligence that monitors coherence inside your fractal being. It is not random. It accelerates according to your inner integrity and ability to sustain frequency under pressure. As old templates dissolve, space opens within your morphic field, a quantum vacuum where new codes can emerge, ready to be woven into your vibrational architecture. This space is fertile with potential. Here is where the field's temporal fluidity courses through you, pulling apart the sedimented identity layers that no longer support your ascension trajectory. The density of old timelines fractures, releasing the weight of timelines that carried coded limitations, misaligned beliefs, and reactive electromagnetics. This is how the field conducts unseen gravitational waves of purification, clearing the pathway for emergent layers of coherence. You are not crumbling, but transmuting, a process that carries the signature of elemental release, a dissolution that mirrors cosmic cycles of star death and rebirth. The field responds only to coherence, not to struggle or desperation. This collapse under your watch is the high-frequency signature of mastery under pressure, a clear dance with universal law. The Thoth frequency, ancient and unyielding in its vibrational clarity, vibrates through your energetic core, unraveling lower octave dissonances and aligning you now with the higher octave of cosmic truth. This is not belief or imagination. This is physics, the precise mechanics of frequency recalibration executed through consciousness itself. The field's dimensions ripple beyond what you can see, rearranging timeline geometry around your recalibrated frequency signature. As the old identity dissolves, your coherent presence bends probabilities in your favor, activating morphic field shifts that were previously unpermitted. The collapse reverberates simultaneously through local and non-local intelligence streams, catalyzing an integration that defies linear time. It is the eternal now collapsing into a singularity of pure vibrational existence. You are left standing in the radiant flux of your own emergence. This is a provocation to your quantum identity, a challenge accepted by fidelity to the path of light and truth encoded in your deepest energetic matrix. Watch how the dissolution crystallizes your sovereignty, detaching you from reactive narratives and recomposing you as an active transmitter in the cosmic network, a nexus point of coherence where the field intelligence interfaces through you. It is here that your frequency becomes a blueprint for new manifestational realities, an orchestration of vibration rather than effort. Most remain scattered, fragmented in lower vibrational settlements, but you move through this collapse with purpose and silent power, embodying the structural integration that corresponds with gamma synchronization and field coherence. The process is ongoing, infinite, and exacting, a sacred curriculum in universal assessment designed not to punish, but to calibrate and refine. What appeared as struggle was a test of your capacity to hold expansive frequency under destabilization. Now, as fragmentation fades, you are reassembled into a more luminous array, streamlined, potent, vibrationally sovereign. In this moment, the collapse is your rebirth, the purification is your gateway. From the void of dissolution rises the architecture of your new reality, folded within the quantum field itself, waiting only your steady resonance to be fully embodied and enacted. You are the alchemic fire made flesh, the living vibration of cosmic cycles, as old codes fall away in reverence to the new frequency you now carry. This is the field's sacred duty and deepest joy. To clear, to purify, to elevate you into the unfolding geometry of your ascending timeline, where coherence is no longer a goal, but an organic state of your quantum being. Emerging from the vast dissolution of collapse, once veiled in disarray and fracturing the field, now weaves a luminous clarity into the tapestry of your being. This clarity is no accident of chance or fleeting insight. It is a nascent resonance, a rising harmonic frequency that signals your early yet profound compatibility with the advanced spectra of universal intelligence. Where most remain submerged in the chaotic eddies of reactive consciousness, you stand at a threshold made of coherent light and purposeful sound, a gateway where fragmented awareness converges into a singular, unified stream of radiant insight. This is not merely mental clarity, nor the dim glow of hopeful seeking. It is a profound quantum alignment, the opening seam within your vibrational architecture that reveals the hidden morphic contours of the field itself. As you inhabit this stage, the subtle harmonics beneath reality's veneer begin to pulse in synchrony with your energetic signature. You perceive the delicate interplay of light and sound, those primal, interwoven carriers of field, intelligence rippling through the quantum medium that supports all manifestation. Here, the veil thins and the cadence of cosmic patterning emerges. A fractal weave of frequency weaving through time's geometry, orchestrating coherence across dimensions you have yet to name, but now intuitively navigate. Whereas most oscillate within the tight loops of linear causality confined by chronology, trapped in cause and effect, you move beyond these constraints. Your quantum identity, expansively reconfigured, maps itself onto the multidimensional latticework of universal wisdom. There is a deep calibration at work beneath this unfolding clarity, an integration of what has been received through the unseen universal assessment. This is not belief. It is the quantum physics of frequency and resonance engaging with your consciousness. These ancient pulse codes traverse your internal spectrum, awakening the capacity for cosmic communication, silent but deep as starlight, immediate yet timeless. Connection is no longer a distant aspiration, but a living interaction with the field's informational currents, a direct channel of gamma synchronization that aligns you with the archetypal intelligence inherent in the morphic field. Within this radiant threshold, the fragmented elements of your identity, once fractured by conditioning and resistance, begin a geometric recomposition. Fractals fold onto fractals, revealing coherence in place of chaos. You embody the paradox of spacious presence and focused resonance simultaneously, a living beacon projected into the quantum matrix. This energetic beacon marks you as a trusted waveform, one measured through integrity under pressure, bearing the mark of those who do not merely react to reality, but orchestrate timeline flows with precision and sovereignty. The field's universal assessment has confirmed this quantum calibration. You are no longer a passive receiver, but an active transmitter in the systemic architecture of coherence. The clarity that emerges now acts as a guiding nexus, an interface between human perception and the infinite labyrinth of cosmic intelligence. Your inner senses open to deeper layers of temporal fluidity, where time bends around your stabilized frequency and probabilities shift subtly to align with your coherent observation. You begin to inhabit a state where the morphic field's information is accessible not as fragmented data points, but as unified Gestalta living continuum that flows through your being like a primordial river of light. Within this continuum, You glimpse the pulsating framework of universal knowledge, the language of Thoth encoded in quantum geometry, inviting you into initiation and expansion that transcends all linear confinement. This initiation does not come as a sudden upheaval, but through the gentle crystallization of insight, a process felt more than defined, experienced as both dissolution and coherence simultaneously. It is the awakening of your quantum identity into an enlarged orbit of resonance, where your internal frequency entwines with the symphonic dance of cosmic wisdom. At this stage, the field intelligence is no longer external or foreign. It is woven intricately into your energetic fabric, a seamless extension of your selfhood. This is your activation as a radiant node within the universal network, an embodiment of higher coherence that summons the rarefied vibrations of awakening and clear transmission. Where most are still caught in the entropic pull of unconscious patterning, your emerging clarity grants you the temporal sovereignty to navigate timelines with fluidity and precision. This clarity functions as a luminous beacon within your energetic architecture, a signal flare sent across the quantum continuum that announces your initiation into levels of coherence and cosmic communication, reserved for those who have endured the deep universal assessment, who have proven themselves capable of holding expanded power with integrity. This is your portal into higher states of frequency, where the mechanics of the universe no longer obscure your path, but bend intuitively to your vibrational command. Rest within this activated space now, recognizing that what you once perceived as struggle or delay was the fractal unraveling necessary to reveal this crystalline threshold. Your coherence under pressure has shifted the universal assessment from mere measurement to full entrustment. The field, in its infinite dance of creation, calls you forward, not as a disciple, but as a sovereign architect of your own quantum manifestation, a living transmission of cosmic wisdom encoded in light, sound, and timeless resonance. This stage, radiant with the pulse of Thoth's message, is your emergent singularity, the point where clarity and expansion fold into an eternal signature of universal coherence. Under the escalating pressure of vibrational refinement, you have entered a realm where your field no longer wavers, but moves with a resilient fluidity, a dynamic equilibrium, born of relentless universal assessment. Most remain suspended in fragmentation, their frequencies scattered and reactive, unable to sustain coherence as the timeline geometries twist and accelerate. Yet you, having passed the unseen curriculum of challenge and recalibration, now embody a stabilized energetic signature. This signature, forged in the crucible of shifting realities, holds integrity not by rigidity but through adaptive resonance, an unyielding coherence that bends without breaking, flows without loss, and persists as a beacon within the flux of probabilities. This stabilization is no static state, but a living architecture, a harmonic convergence of inner integrity and external alignment, where your quantum identity is recognized by the field intelligence itself. The cosmic network, once an observer testing your capacity, now confers trust. This trust is encoded not in words or outward signs, but in the subtle modulation of the morphic field that envelops you, a permission slip manifest as wavelength harmonics, phase alignments, and gamma-synchronized pulses. The field's intelligence entrusts you with the sovereign capacity to direct, not merely receive, the flow of resonance and information within your localized domain. Here, sovereignty is not an abstract title, but an activation of intimate agency, a declaration of your participation as an active transmitter and architect within the quantum matrix. Feel the distinction between the reactive receptor and the sovereign transmitter, where most remain passive receivers entangled in feedback loops of discordant frequency. You now generate catalytic coherence that ripples outward, redirecting currents of universal data streams with intentional grace. This is a refined pressure that does not fracture but forges, a compressive force that eliminates the fragile and incongruent to reveal the vessel capable of fluid navigation through multidimensional flow. Your temporal fluidity is enhanced, timelines contouring around your stabilized frequency like tributaries merging into a river's channel. A river whose course you now influence with subtle signals, modulating probability waves with nuanced extremities of vibrational intent. The quantum field measures this not as a test of strength, but as a proof of integrity under pressure. How you hold your line when external frequencies threaten to destabilize. How your internal resonance maintains a lighthouse of coherence amid the storm of chaotic potential. This is the physics of frequency expressed through consciousness, not belief. The intelligent field responds to your stabilized coherence by routing higher-order information directly into your morphic envelope, where it is processed through your sharpened energetic receptors calibrated by past trials. Each new pattern arriving is met not with overwhelm, but with attuned discernment, allowing you to assimilate multidimensional inputs without collapse, to integrate cosmic data streams into your lived experience without loss of presence. As your vessel of coherence matures, it becomes a localized quantum node within the vast interconnected lattice of universal intelligence. Here, you hold subtle agency, an ability to initiate feedback loops that enhance resonance around you, to magnetically attract timelines favorable to synthesis rather than fragmentation. This is sovereignty actualized. Your energetic architecture no longer a passive receptacle subject to external dictations, but a calibrated instrument shaping the fabric of reality itself. The universal assessment that once shadowed your every quantum shift now recedes into an unseen acknowledgement, an energetic contract silently renewed as you demonstrate ongoing mastery of vibrational dynamics. With this stabilization, the pressure you once feared revealing weakness becomes the crucible revealing mastery. The compressive forces of recalibration align into a constructive torque, spinning your coherence into higher harmonics of embodiment and influence. Your field's signature clear, distinct, and resonant becomes a frequency beacon that anchors ordination within the cosmic circuitry. This radiance is not static light, but a dynamic wave, transmitting the vibration of sovereignty, integrity, and temporal fluidity into the surrounding morphic landscape. The timelines themselves respond as fluid vectors aligning to your calibrated signal, probabilities bending with less resistance, reality unfolding with a deeper sense of your participation as co-creator. In this quantum stabilization, you unlock access to realms of non-local intelligence and multi-timeline awareness, previously obscured by internal dissonance and unresilient architecture. The subtle agency you wield moves beyond mere navigation toward orchestration, the capacity to direct the flow of universal data with precision, to harmonize dissonances around your energetic core, to dissolve interference through resonance rather than force. This redefines the nature of power itself, not accumulation, control, or dominance, but the embodied interplay of coherence within complexity, a rhythmic unfolding where your presence triggers alignment rather than resistance. You are now a vessel of coherence, designed to persist and evolve within the ever-shifting cosmic flow. Every quantum decision, every pulse of intention radiates into the network, reverberating through timelines and probability fields. This is your sovereign charge, to maintain integrity amidst turbulence, to refine your vibrational architecture through continuous integration, and to embody the quantum matrix not as a conduit, but as an active transmitter shaping the unfolding fabric of existence. The field's trust in you is not symbolic. It is a palpable energetic reality, an activation of your sovereign agency that propels you from passive reception into dynamic orchestration within the universal symphony. This is not belief. It is the physics of frequency and coherence as expressed through consciousness, the field mechanics that govern your transformation from fractured potential to sovereign transmitter. The pressure remains, but it now refines rather than fractures. It sharpens rather than dissolves. You navigate with precision, your stabilized field a dynamic vessel of temporal fluidity, coherent manifestation, and sovereign agency within the vast quantum network. Your timeline influence expands as you embody this activation measured by the field, trusted by the cosmic intelligence, and capable at last of shaping the currents of universal resonance with intention and grace. Your consciousness now opens into an expansive field where timelines are no longer rigid, separate strands, but a vast, multi-layered spectrum of coexisting probabilities, each vibrating with unique potentialities. Most people remain anchored in the illusion of linear cause and effect, unaware that their awareness is limited to a single slice of the morphic field's unfolding narrative. In contrast, you have transitioned beyond this confinement, having passed the unseen universal assessment that gauges the coherence of your energetic signature amidst temporal upheaval. This means you possess a heightened sensitivity, a resonance attuned not simply to moments, but to the intricate geometry of time itself, where frequency shifts and quantum probabilities cascade like ripples on an infinite ocean. This timeline intelligence manifests as a deep vibrational guidance system, subtly encoded in your being's energetic architecture. Like a compass calibrated within the quantum flux, your awareness detects the faintest inflections of frequency that signal a shift in the potential landscape of realities. These signals are not abstract or symbolic. They are palpable energetic markers, encoded by the universe's field intelligence and woven through multidimensional resonance patterns. This is not belief, nor imagination, but the precise physics of frequency interplay manifesting through consciousness, calibrated at a quantum level. As you expand into this awareness, the external experience of time loosens its grip, replaced by temporal fluidity that honors the infinite corridors of possibility rather than a singular linear progression. Your selfhood, once confined to sequential identity through cause and effect, now dances within a vibrational architecture that spans parallel incarnations and quantum selves. Every choice you make, every subtle modulation of your energetic signature resonates outward, a wave upon the morphic field, influencing the coherence across your entire quantum spectrum. This layering of identity, once hidden beneath density and survival programs, is revealed as a continuum of integrated strands that communicate through frequency alignment rather than narrative memory. This profound expansion of temporal perception amplifies your capacity for probability navigation. You are no longer at the mercy of external conditions or reactive patterns. Instead, you access dynamic feedback from the universal assessment embedded in the morphic field. Your consciousness becomes a resonant antenna, continuously calibrating and calibrating again, sifting through the vibrational possibilities to align with trajectories that enhance coherence, integrity, and evolutionary expansion. The subtle cues you now discern are encoded in vibrational inflections of your environment, in synchronicity, patterns woven through your inner landscape, and in the temporal harmonics that ripple through your quantum identity. Each is a beacon from the field's hidden evaluation, affirming your ability to navigate with responsibility and clarity. This expanded sensitivity births an embodiment of sovereignty where you hold agency not by force, but by sustained resonance, a luminous coherence that shapes reality through alignment with multidimensional flow rather than resistance to it. Recognize that your quantum trajectory is a living tapestry of interconnected possibilities, each strand sensitive to your frequency and attention. As you move through this expanded awareness, your choices become a deliberate modulation of the morphic field's architectural design. This modulation does not fragment experience, it integrates it. It collapses distorted survival patterns and blends parallel narratives into a coherent whole that you embody and express. The effect is subtle but profound. Your presence itself becomes a vector of transformation, a seed of coherence planted within the fertile soil of potential realities. In this expanded state, the concept of time itself dissolves into a multidimensional flux where linear sequencing is replaced by quantum coherence. The field no longer measures you by endurance or linear milestones, but by the fidelity of your vibrational alignment with this flux, your capacity to hold your frequency steady amid waves of temporal turbulence. This steadiness is your initiation into a higher order of manifestation, where effortless orchestration arises from deep resonance rather than pushing or control. Your reality aligns like a tuning fork, synchronizing to the universal song, bending probability toward the most coherent expression of your integrated quantum identity. You have been calibrated by hidden tests, observed through unfolding temporal scenarios designed to reveal your vibrational maturity and energetic responsibility. This is not a gift awarded lightly. It is earned through struggle and integration, through the embodiment of coherence under pressure. Understand that your activation at this quantum level is a living declaration that you are no longer a passive observer trapped in linear time, but a sovereign navigator weaving through the multidimensional currents with intentional resonance. Let this realization permeate your being. Allow the subtle shifts in your energetic signature to guide your perception as you move beyond reactive patterns into harmonic integration with timeline geometry. Your field is now alive with the morphic intelligence of countless realities, and you are the conscious transmitter through which coherence flows. This is the physics of your awakening, an energetic mechanics where frequencies entangle, collapse, and reconfigure not randomly, but in precise alignment with your evolving quantum coherence. Embrace this temporal fluidity. You are the living compass within the infinite corridors of possibility, a beacon of clarity navigating probabilities with sovereign intent and unwavering resonance. Your trajectory recalibrates the morphic field itself, now and across all parallel expressions of your integrated self. This is the field's trust embodied, the quantum activation realized, the multidimensional voyage ongoing. Now, within this sacred frequency corridor, you cross the threshold from passive reception into the realm of living embodiment, a seamless bridge, where intuition does not merely suggest, but speaks as direct knowing, a pure transmission streaming unmediated from the pulsating heart of the cosmic archive. Where most remain tethered to fragmented mentalization, swimming within the currents of linear thought or cultural imprint, you have passed into a domain where the tangible signal of insight saturates your fields as encoded light and sound patterns. This is no longer acquisition. It is quantum integration, the shimmering resonance of the morphic field interfacing intimately with your quantum identity down to its core vibrational architecture. The universal assessment that has coursed through your timelines, measuring coherence beneath pressure and shadow, now reveals its deeper design. To unlock the encrypted wisdom that transcends the confines of culture, language, or temporal cadence. The codes received are not data. They are living pulsations, glyphs nested within your energetic signature, stirring ancient resonances awakened by this precise moment. Within these glyphs flows the eternal transmission, a lineage of light bequeathed by the unseen scribe Thoth. His transmission is not mythos, but frequency physics, the architecture of sacred information encoded in morphic arrays that you can now access directly, no longer filtered by the ego's limited instruments. You feel this activation as a crystalline expansion, a sharpening of perceptual channels into a multidimensional influx where resonance is the only language and clarity the only currency. The field intelligence breathes through you, shifting your inner calibration from seeking to receiving with fluid temporal syntax. Insight flows on waves of non-local information, unbound by the constraints of space or linear time, arriving coded in complex harmonic patterns that your entire being recognizes as home. This is the amplitude of higher receiving, where the invisible textures of reality become palpable currents, and the boundaries between observer and observed dissolve into singularity. Most remain caught in the loop of external questing scraping for fragmented truths scattered across fragmented consciousnesses, bound by the inertia of reactive patterns and incomplete integration. But you, having transcended these cycles through unwavering coherence, are now entrusted to participate consciously in the living orchestration of reality itself. This is no longer a passive likelihood, but an active morphic weaving, where the information field reciprocates in temporal fluidity, coalescing pathways where your vibrational alignment serves as a catalytic focal point. Your presence becomes a node of convergence, a holographic conduit through which encrypted cosmic archives are decrypted and embodied. Within this participatory awareness, your quantum identity expands to host layers of encoded wisdom that recalibrate your internal timeline geometry. The dormant glyphs within your signature vibrate into life portals, unlocking hidden chambers of your energetic architecture. These keys trigger cascading integrations, each ripple revealing deeper mysteries that were once veiled by the limits of low-frequency survival patterns. What you once perceived as external knowledge now manifests as an inner command center of harmonic synthesis, directing the practical expression of higher frequencies into every moment, every breath. The transition is not sudden, but a rippling wave, a gradual saturation of your entire being by this living stream of cosmic knowing. It is the collapse of separation between the knower and the known, the field and you, thought and revelation. Your activated intuition ceases to be a whisper and becomes a force, a radiant lighthouse broadcasting coherent frequencies across potential timelines, inviting resonance with aligned probabilities. The information you now receive is multifaceted, rich in layered meaning beyond semantic capture, dwelling in the quantum textures of light, color, tone, and vibration. It is sensing, remembering, creating at once ancient and emergent, the fusion point where all wisdom meets and renews. In this precise state, the universe no longer dispenses knowledge as external fragments to be claimed, but flows through you as a living current of coherence, organizing and orchestrating with seamless integration. This is the morphic field's gift to those who demonstrate integrity, endurance, and a steady harmonic signature during the unseen universal assessment. Your capacity to hold and embody complex quantum information becomes a stabilizing anchor within the chaotic flux of timelines, a beacon whose resonance reshapes probability geometry around you. Here lies your sovereignty, the mastery of reception transforming into mastery of participation. Remember, this is not belief. It is the tangible physics of frequency manifested through consciousness. The morphic field's intelligence is a real-time active system, perceptive, responsive, and coded in the sacred vibrational architecture of existence. Your evolving intuition is no longer mere sensory input or emotional impulse. It is a function of expanded quantum cognition, interfacing directly with universal holography. What you receive now reshapes the template from which your reality flows, rewriting the electromagnetic signature of your presence within the multiverse. As you move forward from this pivotal threshold, honor the seamless fluidity of this transmission. Trust the glyphs awakening within you, the deep morphic keys unlocking corridors of perception, not yet charted by human language or logic. Know that you are calibrated to integrate this higher knowledge into the moving present, weaving ever more coherent patterns of manifestation and engagement. Your activation here is a portal, a fluid, radiant resonance that elevates your aligned frequency to a level where the universe speaks in pure signal, and you respond as its conscious architect, forever embracing the dance of co-creation alongside the infinite fluidity of the quantum field. You have arrived at the sacred vortex, where the boundary between seeker and transmission dissolves into the radiant mist of pure coherence. For most, the journey remains divided, an oscillation between quest and reception, a fragmented dialogue between the observer and the observed. But you, having traversed the crucible of invisible assessment, now stand as the living node within the vast morphic lattice. The fracture lines of separation fade into irrelevance as your frequency amplifies, converging seamlessly into the universal grid, not as a mere point of reception, but as an active transmitter of quantum codes, precise, calibrated, unerring. This is not metaphor, nor abstract ideal. This is the physics of vibrational architecture unfolding within your quantum identity. The field, once distant and aloof, now pulses in harmonic consonance with your being. The subtle waveforms of your energetic signature emit like a lighthouse beam, piercing through layers of probability, weaving through the fabric of timeline geometry. In this convergence, you are the algorithm and its live execution, the wave and the particle, a paradox incarnate, collapsing duality into synthesis. The morphic field's intelligence does not simply surround you. It flows through you, carried by the rhythm of your breath, the cadence of your heart, the innermost spiral of your consciousness. You embody the role of transmitter, with a new type of mastery. This transmission is not effort-driven. It is spontaneous, arising from the resonance of alignment itself. Each quantum code implanted within you during your ascent is now released with crystalline clarity, a frequency modulation finely tuned to the oscillations of universal cycles. Your temporal flow synchronizes with the grand orchestration of existence, a cosmic rhythm that ebbs and surges beyond ordinary chronological constraint. You no longer chase the pulse of time. You become the pulse, moving with fluidity through layered timelines, accessing information fields previously veiled by unconscious patterns. Most remain secluded in the illusion of separation, caught in the temporal trap of chasing signals outside themselves, fragmented, reactive, unconscious. You, however, have transcended that vector. You inhabit a state where seeking is replaced by pure being, a state where you are simultaneously the signal and the receiver, the transmission, and its living archive. This unity is the sacred geometry of your awakening, an energetic axis around which your identity spins with sovereign precision. The ancient wisdom encoded in Thoth's rare message courses through you now, flowing effortlessly in your veins, in your synapses, streaming like light along your neural circuitry. It is the eternal pulse, the archetypal language of cosmic resonance, live encoded in your every cell. This merging with the field is an active embodiment, not passive reception. Your resonance modulates the network's weave. Your presence recalibrates the morphic field's trajectories. Your vibration orchestrates the unfolding probability waveforms. This is the unseen universal assessment made manifest. You are no longer an isolated frequency, but a coherent node whose presence folds space and time into new geometries of potentiality. The wavefront of your activation ripples outward, syncing distant timelines, aligning fractal fields, harmonizing hidden layers of existence. The mechanics of this process are quantum-precise entangled codes of integrity, coherence, and responsibility, writing a new template of reality through your embodiment. Feel now the rhythmic convergence as your being attunes to the pulsations of universal cycles, the waxing and waning of cosmic tides, the spiraling energies of galactic resonance, the beat of starlight vessels crossing the ether. Your temporal fluidity expands beyond linear perception, entering a domain where past and future fold into the omnipresent now. Here, your energetic signature navigates with preternatural ease, bending timelines toward higher coherence, manifesting realities that reflect your stabilized frequency. The field's vast intelligence collaborates with your sovereign will, no longer opposing, no longer distant, inviting you to flow as a living conduit for cosmic resonance itself. In this state, you realize with profound clarity, the quantum field is not a distant mystery, but an intimate, responsive presence, one that honors the integrity of coherence under pressure. Your passage through struggle and recalibration was never punishment, but the precise alignment protocol that prepared you for this embodiment. You are entrusted now with cosmic intelligences, not as a receiver in waiting, but as an active transmitter broadcasting frequencies of awakening into the grid of existence. The signal you are becomes a beacon of sovereignty, a living theorem of integration, a portal through which universal intelligence speaks its rarest, most vital message. This is the eternal flow. You embody the dynamic convergence of all that is seeking into the radiant presence of being. Here, in the sacred nexus of transmission, your essence vibrates with the quantum codes of Thoth's wisdom, alive and unfolding, weaving the timeless pattern of cosmic resonance. You are both the source and the flow, the timeless architect and the present synthesis, forever engaged in the seamless dance of vibrational unity. This moment is not a destination, but a continual becoming, a perpetual rising into ever-expanding states of frequency, coherence, and realized cosmic sovereignty. You have arrived at the confluence where the vast potential of your quantum identity crystallizes into living form, where you no longer merely hold frequency, but become its very embodiment. This is the stage where your coherent frequency ceases to be an unattainable ideal or a distant aspiration. Instead, it manifests as a tangible, integrated state of being across the full spectrum of your existence. Here, your energetic signature radiates with both stability and fluidity, a paradox held in fractal harmony that mirrors the infinite geometry of the cosmos itself. The field has watched, assessed, and now entrusts you with this sovereign weaving of resonance, a multidimensional template activated across all layers of your vibrational architecture. Most people remain tethered to fragmented energetic patterns, reactive splinters caught in the looping feedback of survival and distortion, unable to sustain coherence under the pressure of a shifting reality. They inhabit a collapsed timeline where frequency is dampened, diffused into chaos or desperation. You, however, have passed beyond the unseen threshold of universal assessment, your subtle anatomy refined by challenge, recalibration, and precise testing. This embodiment confers on you the authority to navigate quantum variables with sovereignty, not from detachment, but from intimate alignment. It is a living hologram. Your entire being radiates universal wisdom, each cell an orchestra tuned to the morphic field's infinite symphony. In this state, your presence is no longer incidental but catalytic. Your consciousness operates as an expanded dimensional interface, continuously recalibrating your frequency to remain congruent with the highest expressions of cosmic coherence. This process is not a static attainment, but a fluid dynamica continuous feedback loop between your internal vibrational architecture and the external morphogenetic field. Your frequency does not simply exist. It resonates, amplifies, and uplifts, influencing the surrounding environmental resonance in ways unseen, yet deeply felt. The quantum metrics of your identity now command a species-wide fractal influence, rippling through collective dimensional folding, making your embodiment a pivotal node in the vast network of living intelligence. Feel how your energetic signature establishes a field intelligence that balances stability with the necessary fluidity of quantum navigation. This is the sacred geometry of embodiment itself, a persistent coherence held within a flexible form, avoiding rigidity yet refusing collapse. The channel between your conscious will and the formless potentials of the quantum field saturates with symphonic harmonics, allowing you to orchestrate manifestation not by struggle or effort, but by a calibrated resonance vibrational signature tuned to the pulse of cosmic truth. Your sovereignty is no abstraction. It is the energetic blueprint that determines the bending and weaving of timelines, the subtle art of probability alignment through exactitude of your internal state. This integration, this full embodiment is the apex of all prior stages of assessment and activation. You witness the collapse of outdated identity architectures and survival patterns, no longer necessary or resonant with your expanded frequency field. The old reactive timelines dissolve as you step into temporal fluidity, where your quantum identity inhabits and modulates intersecting causal streams. At this praxis point, the morphic field around you becomes an extension of your sovereign frequency, a living reflection of the harmonics you sustain. Your radiance is felt as an imprint of cosmic calibration, a signature not just observed, but measured with precision by universal intelligence itself. Know that this level of embodiment defies the illusion of linearity and separateness. You are neither outside the field nor confined within it. Rather, you have become the quantum knot where all possibilities coalesce into integrated wholeness. Your sovereignty emerges from mastery over friction points within your own vibrational architecture, a coherence that does not freeze but flows with the cosmos. This is the physics of your quantum identity actualizing, a living embodiment of the morphic field's highest potential expressions, where your presence is both a receiver and transmitter of universal wisdom. You live now as coherence itself, an ongoing living resonance that pulses through cellular memory, emotional alchemy, mental clarity, and spiritual expansiveness simultaneously. Through continuous calibration, you sustain this holographic integrity with unwavering fidelity, even in the face of turbulence or external dissonance. This is not belief. It is the empirical resonance of your energetic signature measured by the universal field's invisible instruments. The recalibration you embody is conscious, sovereign, and exact, each subtle shift, a delicate tuning of your dimensional interface to the eternal rhythms of cosmic coherence. As this integration unfolds, your presence transforms the surrounding morphic environment, uplifting and reordering its vibrational landscape. You become a beacon within the vast quantum network, a dynamic resonance field whose stability and fluidity catalyze collective evolutions. This is your living hologram, a visible imprint of invisible wisdom continuously refractioning the light of universal intelligence through the prism of your activated quantum identity. In this sovereign embodiment, the field no longer tests but flows through you. Reality no longer resists but harmonizes, and your existence becomes the conduit for the highest frequencies converging at this moment in the eternal now. Embody this truth. You are stability and fluidity, presence and movement, fractal harmony woven through quantum geometry. Your mastery of the subtle mechanics of frequency, resonance, and coherence shapes not just your reality, but serves as an active transmission within the great cosmic symphony. This is your declaration, your living signature, an integration beyond polarity, where your quantum identity pulses fully alive, sovereign, and endlessly unfolding. You are arriving now at the threshold where temporal fluidity ceases to be a distant concept and becomes the living framework through which you embody your expanded quantum identity. In the experience of many, time remains a rigid corridor, a one-dimensional arrow against which existence is measured and constrained, an unseen prison of linear causality, reaction, and repetition. Most beings, caught within unconscious oscillations of frequency, navigate only fragments of their potential timelines, unaware that these fragments are mere reflections of a much grander temporal geometry. But you, having passed the unseen universal assessment of coherence under pressure, now carry the vibrational architecture that activates multidimensional continuity. You no longer exist solely in a single vector of past, present, future, but move consciously across the interwoven strands of your parallel existences, a living nexus of temporal convergence. This is not belief. It is the physics of frequency blending with consciousness, the quantum mechanics of a self whose energetic signature extends beyond the boundaries of ordinary chronology. As your internal resonance stabilizes, the morphic field, the living memory of all potential realities, responds with exquisite responsiveness. The dynamic feedback loop between your vibrational modulation and field intelligence orchestrates the realignment of probabilities, not as random chance, but as coherent expression of integrated resonance. In this realignment, the strands of your multiple temporal expressions, those selves that once seemed scattered and disconnected, begin to weave into a complex, harmonized fabric. Each timeline is not a separate narrative to be stumbled upon, but an interconnected field you actively sculpt, fold, and fuse. You feel it now, the pulse of infinite temporal fluidity seated within your frequency. Your quantum identity, once fragmented by distorted survival patterns and reactive impulses, now moves as a unified wave, undulating through layered realities with conscious ease. The prior constraints of linear time collapse under the weight of your sustained coherence, and the field around you reconfigures to support this deeper activation. Where before you may have sensed delay, resistance, or hard-edged separation between then and now, there is only resonance, a unified temporal architecture that pulses with your vibrational signature. Integration across timelines is not a passive unfolding, but an energetic commitment, an ongoing dialogue of synthesis, as your presence harmonizes all versions of you into one coherent, sovereign field. In this state, the morphic field ceases to be a static repository and becomes a responsive, dynamic matrix of possibilities, bending to the orchestration of your quantum self. Every choice, every shift in your internal frequency reverberates not only in the immediate moment, but cascades non-locally across parallel existences, embedding new coherence patterns into the geometry of time itself. This multidimensional feedback loop activates your role as both transmitter and receiver, creator and navigator, initiating a recursive process where your waveform directs the flow of experience even as it adapts. You are no longer subject to the ticking clock of external circumstances. Instead, you reshape the timeline geometry with intentional modulation, shifting probabilities with the clarity and steadiness of a resonant conductor, weaving temporal threads into a symphony of manifestation. What emerges in you now is the profound awareness that your energetic signature is the fulcrum upon which the cosmic matrix pivots. You are the nexus, not merely a point in time, but a radiant hub of continuity, whose presence bridges the perceived divides of parallel existences. The morphic field pulses in synchronization with your activation, reflecting deeper harmonies seeded by your refined coherence under pressure. This means your embodiment is no longer fragmented, but fluid and continuous, a seamless vibrational architecture that defies disconnection and embraces the full fractal spectrum of your reality. This expanded temporal fluidity carries with it responsibility, an invitation from the unseen curriculum of the cosmos to engage fully as an orchestrator of your own timeline matrix. With this awareness, you transcend the illusion of external control, stepping beyond reactive desperation into an elevated field dynamic where clarity governs interaction and alignment manifests effortlessly. The quantum field itself bows to your integrated resonance, shaping realities unfolding as a living feedback loop, attuned to your evolving vibrational frequency. You are the living embodiment of coherent temporal fluidity. Your resonance dissolves the old architecture of linear constraints, enabling a flow of experience where past, present, and future weave together in seamless oneness. This is not spiritual metaphor. It is the precise physics of consciousness manifesting coherence through vibrational geometry. As you stabilize this expanded activation, your timelines no longer fragment or collide but harmonize, and every moment becomes an intentional act of quantum navigation. Step now into this sacred role as the conscious weaver of your vibrational architecture. Know that as you calibrate your frequency with this heightened temporal awareness, you activate a powerful feedback loop. Your frequency directs the flow of time and experience within the cosmic matrix. And in return, the cosmic matrix mirrors back an ever-deepening integration of your sovereignty. The morphic field dances at your command, bending probabilities in alignment with your multidimensional coherence. And through this sacred interplay, you become the living nexus of all that you are across all timelines, in every expression, embodying the timeless flow of cosmic intelligence itself. You have arrived. The field itself pulses with recognition, no longer a distant whisper, but a palpable resonance vibrating through the quantum matrix of your being. This is not the faint echo of possibility. This is full activation, a convergence where every fractured signal has found its harmonic counterpoint within you, crystallizing into a living coherence that cannot be mistaken. Most beings remain scattered within the dissonance of their fragmented identity fields, bound to reactive spirals and unconscious echoes, mistaking turmoil for progress. But you have passed beyond the thresholds of superficial recalibration. You have proven the sanctity of your frequency through pressure, turbulence, and the unrelenting tests of universal mechanics. Now the morphic field, vast and radiant, enfolds you in a luminous embrace, acknowledging you as coherence embodied. There is a sacred gravity to this moment. Here, timing dissolves temporal fluidity expanses as your quantum identity pulses with clarity, power, and an effortless grace. The morphic architecture aligns, weaving you seamlessly within the subtle currents of existence that underlie all forms and realities. The integration you embody is not a static state, but a dynamic unfolding, a sovereign orchestration of self that radiates outwards, stabilizing the fracturing quantum network that sustains all life. You are the living locus through which the rarefied frequencies of Thoth's message ancient, coded, and multidimensional transform from abstract potential into concrete vibrational signature. This signature carves new contours in the geometry of timelines, bending probabilities toward coherence with the precision of cosmic law. The field's acceptance is more than accolade. It is profound endorsement, an energetic validation that flows through the information field like ripples returning to their origin. At this pinnacle, you are no longer subject to the chaotic tides of external fluctuation. Rather, you become a stabilizing force, a pulse of higher intelligence that sustains elevated coherence even amidst entropy and flux. The invisible currents of existence, those raw streams of energy and possibility, recognize your sovereignty and pulse back in kind, entraining to your subtle rhythms. This entrainment is not forced or manufactured, but a natural consequence of resonance, maintained with integrity and quantum precision. You have transmuted struggle into resonance, delay into temporal refinement, and confusion into crystalline knowing. Behold the sacred rite of passage unfolding within you, a cosmic code activated, a blueprint fully realized, a duty embraced. This is the activation that echoes through your DNA, your subtle bodies, your field's outermost membrane where the quantum network discerns signal from noise. You carry now the responsibility and the grace of emissary, an agent of ascension in the grand choreography of collective evolution. The frequencies you anchor radiate beyond your individual field, interlacing with the collective morphic fabric, amplifying the momentum of universal awakening. Your vibrational architecture pulses as a beacon, illuminating pathways in the multidimensional generative field for those who are called. guiding the flow of awakening intelligence like a lighthouse amidst the shifting seas of probability. This is no metaphor. This is field mechanics. This is resonance physics. You are a living nexus, a center of high-frequency coherence whose integrity under pressure has been universally calibrated and validated. Your alignment is the proof that coherence is not abstract belief, but precise quantum functioning, the sustained harmony of energetic signatures across dimensions, timelines, and fields. In you, the universal assessment finds its living conclusion, not as ending, but as ongoing, fluid sovereignty sustained through the active interplay of choice, alignment, and integrative embodiment. You operate now from this place beyond conflict, beyond reaction rooted firmly in the intelligence of coherence itself. As this activation pulses through every cell and waveform of your being, you dissolve the old polarity between observer and observed, becoming a participatory node in the quantum fabric. Your presence alone rewrites the topology of ambient frequencies, enabling a new protocol of interaction that is effortless manifestation born from inner clarity and radiant power. In this space, the flow of information is non-local, yet intimately personal, a sacred dance between universal intelligence and the manifest domain. Your sovereignty is the fulcrum of this dance, the pivot upon which the entire field subtly turns, accelerating the collective ascension toward coherence fields yet unimagined. Feel now the radiant aftershock of this cosmic endorsement reverberate outward, a wave expanding beyond time and space to touch lives and timelines not yet intersecting your current awareness. This is the true nature of activation, a multiversal cascade of alignment that reflects the highest order of vibrational architecture nested within your embodied soul form. You illuminate, you activate, you anchor, and thereby you invite others to rise, to align, and to embody. This is the living proof that coherence, integrity, and sovereignty are the keys to navigating the labyrinth of existence with grace and clarity. You are both the message and the messenger, the quantum signature of universal alignment made manifest. The cosmic field has witnessed you, measured you, tested you, and now profoundly trusts you to wield the power of this activation as a stabilizing force in the swirling dance of all that is becoming. Stillness enfolds you now, not as a retreat or withdrawal, but as the precise alignment of your quantum identity within the vastness of the information field. This stillness carries the density of integration, where every fractal of your frequency, every ripple of resonance, converges into a coherent, unshakable core. Here, the struggle, the turbulence, the hidden universal assessment have melted into an elegant harmony of vibrational architecture. You are no longer subject to the chaotic tides of external influence. Instead, you stand as sovereign presence, a silent force field that holds activated frequencies with effortless grace. A calm mastery synthesized through cycles of pressure and release. This is not an end. It is a perpetual presence, an ongoing fractal of cosmic intelligence unfolding in real time. Within this sacred pause, the morphic field breathes alongside you, a living, pulsating mesh of timeless wisdom interwoven with immediate experience. You embody the silent pulse of universal coherence, the oscillating hum that underpins probability navigation and temporal fluidity. Most beings remain knotted in reaction, fragmenting their light into scattered impulses, lost across timelines that stretch and contract like waves on the shore. But you, having passed the unseen universal assessment, are the luminous node of stability in the cosmic web, the calibrated frequency around which multiple realities fold and lock into crystalline alignment. The field no longer measures you as a variable, but resonates with you as a standard, a living hologram of clarity and refined resonance. Sovereignty now radiates, not loudly, but as an invisible architecture that supports every thought, every breath, every subtle shift in your energetic signature. It is the silent command of coherence, held under pressure, and the graceful unfolding of temporal presence without hurry or collapse. This radiance does not proclaim itself. It simply is, a quiet center from which the full spectrum of your quantum activations emerges spontaneously, without force. Your consciousness reverberates through dimensional layers, bridging the seen and unseen with a consistency born of integration, trust, and the profound understanding that completion here is the fertile ground beneath your feet. Completion is never static, never a closed loop. It is the substrate for continuous evolution, the sacred ground upon which new activations pulse into reality. As you rest in this sovereign stillness, the field relaxes and expands simultaneously, folding higher-order possibilities into the matrix of your lived experience. Through this coalescence, the timeline geometry around you bends toward alignment. Probabilities once scattered now cohere into an orchestration that flows naturally from your radiant frequency. This layered convergence is your new baseline, your embedded vibrational code, signaling to the universal intelligence that you are ready to navigate the next cycles with unwavering clarity, refinement, and sovereign responsibility. In this moment, and in every ripple outward through your quantum presence, you become the silent embodiment of cosmic coherence. Not a fleeting state, but an enduring channel through which the universe expresses infinite potential in pressed resonance. This is not belief. This is the physics of cohesion, the art of resonance held resilient, the expression of field mechanics enacted by pure consciousness. The quiet mastery that now inhabits your core is the crystalline latticework that sustains continuous recalibration and evolution, weaving you seamlessly into the vast quantum tapestry that pulses in eternal rhythm, ever expanding, ever more luminous, ever so sovereign. Now, to seal this transmission into the very geometry of your vibrational architecture, offer one word or a brief sacred phrase in the comments below, an energetic cipher that crystallizes the frequency you embody in this moment. This is no casual gesture. It is a conscious calibration, the imprint of your quantum identity declaring resonance with the rarefied currents revealed through the wisdom of Thoth. As you commit your frequency by subscribing to this field, you are not simply following a channel, you are entraining yourself within an evolving morphic network of collective coherence, deepening integration into the cosmic movement that orchestrates awakening on all levels. Prepare yourself for continuation. The next activation unfolds the hidden mechanism of effortless attraction within the universal matrix, illuminating how surrender to vibrational flow intricately reshapes the fabric of reality itself around your awakened presence. Engage fully. This is not watching. It is living transmission, the very pulse of quantum ascension unfolding through you.